tonight, WWE presents SummerSlam from Las Vegas, Nevada in Allegiant Stadium. Of course, the show is headlined by the dream match. The match, if anything, the show's kind of sold around, and that is the WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against John Cena in the main event. Of course, if John Cena wins this match, he will become a record-setting. I use the record-setting thing like that because the Ric Flair record is not real. It's not a real record, but if John Cena wins, he becomes the 17-time world champion. Of course, Roman Reigns last night on SmackDown put in an added stipulation that if he does not win and he does not defeat John Cena at SummerSlam tonight at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, then he is going to leave WWE. Now, I must be honest with you, that really bothered me. That really, really bothered me because it's not the first time WWE have done that. It's not the first time WWE have done that when it comes to this weird. I can picture their rationale for it. I honestly I can. I can picture their rationale of why they would do that and why they would add in the Roman Reigns. If I can't win, I'm going to leave WWE. The reason they do it is because they want to add stakes. They want to make the match feel bigger than it already is. In my opinion, the match doesn't need it. The match doesn't need those stakes. The match has high enough stakes as it is. John Cena, Roman Reigns, how can it get bigger than that? It's the biggest match that WWE can do right now. That is the big one. Roman Reigns, John Cena. So the match doesn't need any added stakes. The reason why it bothers me so much that they decided to go in that direction and they decided to say, if I don't beat John Cena, I'm going to leave WWE is because nobody is buying that. Nobody is buying that for a second that that's going to happen. I don't think realistically anyone was probably buying that John Cena was going to win anyway, considering we all know the status of John Cena in terms of his commitments, his schedule. It's the summer of Cena for a reason, not the fall and remainder of the year of John Cena, because he's not going to be around. This is going to be his, I guess, penultimate appearance. I think he is booked for a live event after SummerSlam. And part of me thinks that they kind of booked that extra John Cena appearance was realistically just to maybe throw in an element of doubt that maybe, you never know, maybe Cena, maybe who might win the title, and then maybe he'll drop it after SummerSlam or something like that. I don't think that's probably the case. I think they probably were struggling for tickets and Cena happened to be available and that was kind of the situation. Nevertheless, when they do this, if I lose, I'm going to be leaving situation. I just, no one buys that. No one buys into that, unfortunately. And it's funny because I was writing a feature for Sportskeeda earlier today. And I was talking about Roman Reigns' best SummerSlam matches or ranking Roman Reigns' SummerSlam matches. Ironically, he's only had four. Considering he's been around since, 2012? So he's been around for like 9 years or 8 and a bit years. He's only had 4 SummerSlam matches. And one of those matches, arguably in my opinion, his best SummerSlam match, was the Fatal 4-Way match for the Universal Championship in 2017. It was Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Samoa Joe. And I had forgotten that in the build-up to that match at SummerSlam, you had Paul Heyman say on an episode of Monday Night Raw, if Brock Lesnar does not retain the Universal Championship and does not win at SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar and myself, Paul Heyman, will leave WWE. And it obviously rang a bell because I went, wait a minute, they just added that statement last night. They added that stipulation onto the show last night. So they're doing the exact same thing they did 4 years ago. And if you go back and sort of track WWE history, they've done it a lot. They do it a lot. Triple H has done it twice at WrestleMania during the last, 10 years or so. He did it against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29. If I lose, I'm going to retire. And he did it against Batista at WrestleMania 35 in 2019. If I lose, I'm going to retire. And in all of those cases, again, nobody believed for a second that Triple H was going to retire. Maybe the Brock Lesnar one because he was transitioning into a corporate figure and all that kind of thing. But realistically, no one thought Triple H is going to retire. Triple H is finished. He's not going to wrestle anymore. And it's kind of the same in this sense. The moment they say that, I know in WWE's mind they think, oh, see, it's adding stakes because people now, if Roman loses, people think Roman's going to leave WWE and it adds an extra level of unpredictability or chaos, but it's completely the other way. In my opinion, it adds another layer of, oh, Cena definitely isn't winning. Previously, you could have said, well, I don't think Cena's winning because he's going to go away, and I don't think Cena is winning because the 17th World Championship is a big deal, and whilst this is the biggest show of this year for WWE, it's bigger than WrestleMania this year. Whilst it is WWE's biggest show of this year, it just, and you could do the 17th World Championship change there. You could. I don't think they will. I think they would save that for another time. And at least before that, you could have had the element of doubt of, well, maybe they'll do it. Now it's just the nail in the coffin. They're definitely not doing it. Because where's Roman Reigns going to go? Well, Roman Reigns is going to leave. So, because Cena's not sticking around either. So even if that they did go in the direction of shocking people and they said Cena won and Reigns is going to leave, well, Cena's going to disappear soon. So your SummerSlam main event, that big main event you built to, those two guys both aren't going to be around because Reigns would have left and John Cena would leave because he's got commitments as well. It don't make any sense. That's why it's not going to happen. That's why that's not going to happen. Now, as far as the build, look, this is the biggest match that WWE can do. I'm trying to pick my words carefully here. This is the biggest match that WWE can do. There's no doubt about that. Aside from Roman Reigns versus The Rock, there is no bigger match that WWE can do right now. So that's a tick. And realistically, the match does sell itself. There isn't much promotional build that WWE need to do or needed to do. My problem is that despite there not needing to be any build, and despite them not really needing to do anything, and them not needing to do a story and all this kind of stuff, the story that they have decided to present, to me, makes no sense. To me, makes no sense. Or just, it feels lackluster. Of, Reigns being like, I don't want to face John Cena, and that whole contract situation of Roman Reigns said, I don't want to face John Cena, but I'll face Finn Balor. And then John Cena grabs the contract and signs the contract himself. First of all, very heelish move. And he crossed out John Cena, put a Sharpie in and signed it. So that means he can face Roman Reigns. Where's the logic there? There is none. There is no logic there. Now, in fairness to WWE, the last 2 weeks, they've wanted to ramp it up. And those reports have come out saying that they want to ramp it up in terms of the build that they've done to this match. Because I think even themselves, they realize that despite this being a bit of a layup, and it is a layup, despite it being a layup, it's at points felt a bit underwhelming, to be honest with you. So they've tried to recreate the past 2 weeks, the promo that they did on Monday Night Raw in 2017, where you had John Cena and Roman Reigns shoot on each other. They tried to recreate that. And I don't know if it was as successful as it was previously. I felt that the shoot that they did on each other, the work shoot that they did on each other in 2017 was better. At that point, though, in fairness, Roman Reigns was not the person that he is today. Roman Reigns at that point was still woefully miscast as a character. Roman Reigns at that point was not the best promo. He was being pushed as a babyface, as the next version of John Cena, and he just wasn't that. And in that segment, Cena just ate him alive on the microphone. John Cena is one of the best promos of all time. And I know some people might get angry at that, but it's true. John Cena is one of the best promos of all time. He's right up there. He is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Again, I know that will upset people, but Cena's match history and the great matches he's had against multiple opponents proves that John Cena's an excellent pro wrestler. He's a very good pro wrestler, and if anything, he's underrated in the ring. He's very, very good. So he is one of the best of all time. And it showed in that segment in 2017 because Cena ate him alive on the microphone. I mean, Roman Reigns was stumbling over his words. He was fumbling on his words. And Cena ate him alive. Now, fast forward 4 years now in 2021, Roman Reigns is far more polished. He's far more comfortable. I think he has much more confidence in himself, in his character, in really everything he does. He's much better cast. He's much better as a heel. And you can tell that he's feeling this more. So I think he's more than held his own in the back and forths that he's had with John Cena over the course of the last few weeks. And frankly, I'm not sure if Cena's promos have been at the level that they were in 2017, but I have enjoyed the back and forths that they've had over the past few weeks. As I mentioned, when it comes to a prediction of what I think Roman Reigns and John Cena will be tonight, I only see it one way. I see Roman Reigns winning. Now, if Roman Reigns wins this match, of course, he'll have been the Universal Champion for over a year. He won the Universal Championship last year, 7 days after SummerSlam. I don't have the exact date to hand right now, But it's something like if he wins tonight, he will be champion for over a year. Realistically, and I was talking to a friend of mine about this today, you do wonder who is going to be the person to defeat Roman Reigns, because I really don't have a good answer to that. Truly, I don't. I really don't have a good answer as to who's going to be that person to defeat Roman Reigns, and when is that going to be. For me, I think Roman Reigns holds the Universal Championship until, at the very least, I think he holds the Universal Championship until WrestleMania next year. Now, if he faces The Rock ain't winning the Universal Championship. So that would say that Roman wins that match as well. And then you start to look at the roster right now on SmackDown and on Raw, because we are going to have a draft at some point later this year, reportedly October. But you start to look at the WWE roster, and you say, who's going to be that guy to defeat Roman Reigns? Who is the person that realistically could take the title off of Reigns, and you go, yeah, that makes sense. Or, yeah, they're on Roman Reigns' level. Or they're showing something of them winning the championship would elevate them to the next level. And the answer is nobody. I really can't see anyone. I guess by proxy of him being the top babyface, maybe a Drew McIntyre, if McIntyre got drafted to SmackDown later on this year. But to be honest with you, McIntyre feels a million miles away from that at that point. WWE have mismanaged and absolutely butchered his character on Monday Night Raw to the point where he's facing Jinder Mahal on this pay-per-view, which I thought was a rib. They're feuding over a sword at this point, and McIntyre was getting mixed responses because, once again, WWE can't book a babyface at this point. And Roman Reigns is evidence of that. John Cena's evidence of that. But people turn on him because WWE don't know how to sustainably book a babyface that people like. It's bizarre. So while Cena isn't going to win tonight, the discussion as to who would be the person to defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, I don't know. I do not have a good answer for you there. I don't. I know people are discussing about Big E, and will Big E get involved in this? Will Big E cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase tonight? I lean into no. Whilst it would be a good opportunity, and look, maybe it would be a swerve and a nice way to end SummerSlam, and a way for people to say, wow, that was surprising, we didn't see that one coming, and a way to elevate Big E. I just don't see WWE diverting from the Roman Reigns plan right now, because again, I think they realize that they've got nothing else. Would Big E winning the Universal Championship be great? Yes. Is he ready for it right now? I think that's debatable. I don't know how well he's been booked since he won the Money in the Bank briefcase. I know it was only a month ago, but realistically in 2021 in general, Big E hasn't been booked very strong. He lost at WrestleMania to Apollo Crews, got kicked in the face by Aleister Black, and then Aleister Black disappeared. So I don't know if he's really in the right place creatively to be the guy to defeat Roman Reigns right now. I think that when it comes to Big E, I think he'll get drafted to Raw and he'll cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase on the WWE Championship. He might even do that tonight on SummerSlam. Who's to say he couldn't do that? Who's to say that Bobby Lashley doesn't defeat Goldberg, and during the match, after the match, Bobby Lashley and MVP are going to intimidate Goldberg's son, Gage, at ringside. Goldberg spears and jackhammers Bobby Lashley once again, and then Big E comes out, cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and wins the WWE Championship. For me, that's more realistic than Big E cashing in on Roman Reigns. I don't see the scenario where Big E can realistically cash in on Roman Reigns. I don't see any diversion from the Roman Reigns plan, which is interesting, of course, because over the course of recent history, WWE is very reactionary, and they don't really plan long term. And it's funny because I don't think even at this point that they're planning long term with Roman Reigns. I don't think they're going, Roman's not going to drop the championship because the plan is for him to drop it at WrestleMania, or the plan is for him to drop it whenever. I don't think they know when Roman Reigns is going to drop the title. I just think at this point, WWE realizes we've got nothing else. Roman Reigns is the best thing going on WWE television today. We would be foolish to mess around with that. We'd be foolish to change that. So I don't think they will. I think Roman Reigns wins tonight. I think he retains the Universal Championship. I don't think there'll be a cash-in. I don't think there'll be anything. I don't think there'll be anything of the sort of hijinks, ref bumps, you name it. I just don't see it. I see John Cena putting Roman Reigns over clean in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, and then disappearing off WWE television. I don't expect a handshake. I don't expect a passing of the torch. I know in the mind of some in WWE, that's what this match will be anyway. Cena putting over Reigns again. but I think that Roman Reigns retains tonight. But I think it'll be an excellent match. I think the crowd will be into it. I just don't know if they'll be as invested in the possibility of Cena winning the 17th World Championship because they know it's not going to happen. They knew probably it wasn't going to happen anyway, but the element of doubt has just been removed even more by this whole, if I don't win, I'm leaving WWE thing, which to me just feels so unnecessary because they know it's not the case. Can you imagine that show if it didn't have Roman Reigns on? Well, you don't have to imagine. That's what it was like last year in the pandemic in the Thunderdome. Well, prior to the Thunderdome, those empty Performance Center shows, that was SmackDown without Roman Reigns, and it sucked. It was awful. Now imagine that, but with a live audience there. Times that by 10. The amount of noise it had to pipe in would be astronomical. So Roman Reigns isn't going anywhere. So Roman Reigns is going to retain the Universal Championship tonight, and he's going to defeat John Cena. But look, guys, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Roman Reigns versus John Cena tonight at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship? Who do you think is going to be leaving as the Universal Champion? Do you think it's going to be Roman Reigns retaining the Universal Championship, or do you think it's going to be John Cena? Will he get his record-setting 17th WWE World Heavyweight Championship reign? Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comment section below. I'll do my best to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys, talking about WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all things pro wrestling here on the channel. So be sure to get involved in the community, drop a comment below. All opinions are welcome. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button too. Really does help us out here on YouTube. Got the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos previously. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or have you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.